Couple of them, kind of stray away from the consciousness after time, following the commercialization, following the money, right? Because those who dominate the money direct us to other things than consciousness. And I decided to share that one with you all. A real conscious, positive tune there. I have no white God, right? Today, darkers on, shirt, well, jersey, black, pants black and all, right? Why everything good and valuable must be white, right? Why? Why do they use language even in that way? Why are we given that image that is contrary to what we know as the truth? Why have we continued to propagate that lie in our churches and other spaces? And there is change. There are people who have made that shift because of the irrefutable evidence of truth. But there are others who accept the lies, build their life on the lies, and continue to live in that space of being lost and deceived. And in particular, why I chose that song this morning as well is because we see a re-emergence of this concept. It never went anywhere, right? It never went anywhere, right? But we see a more vocal, boisterous, noisy reoccurrence of the advocacy for that type of ideology. I don't know if all you're paying attention, but this white supremacy, right? Let's call it what it is. This supremacy of some kind of better race. It exists. Not only does it exist, right? It is being expressed quite openly in many ways. Also infused into new policy, new old policy. The segregation of the past has moved from what was before to now a disdain and a distaste for migration, right? Speaking about they don't want people in their countries, and the speech about the negative impact of migration when they have migrated to all different parts of the world, decimated the indigenous populations there. It's so amazing how these people conveniently lie. They don't forget. Conveniently lie and cover their actions and now take positions which are staggeringly preposterous, which are an abuse to good sense. So people telling others that you're in hell and your traditional, listen to the language of your traditional values and way of what values, what way of life. What values, what way of life they have are being eroded. And criticizing elected individuals, people who represent their communities, people who have contributed significantly to the land that they live in. Boy, I looking for the deeds that God has written and given them over land, over here and there, that make them the possessors thereof. I'm looking for them still. Anybody could call and direct me to the archive that have, you know, that information. Dangerous ideas that create tensions in society, that see a resurgence of neo-Nazis, of racist ideology, of supremacy. Ain't no man better than no man based on no color or creed or hair or whatever nonsense people talking about. It would serve you well if you look towards someone else to look for virtue and decency and kindness and moral and spiritual underpinnings than a tone of skin or an absence of melanin or whatever else. What values? It would do some of these people well to read a book. Do you know anything about Sharia law, for example? You speak about Sharia law. If you're talking about extremes, your behavior is more extreme than any religious teaching or anything else on the face of the earth. You're making summary decisions for execution and boasting about it. And it is only because of an absence of strength militarily from the rest of the world that people stomach the advantage that is taking place. That's the only reason. Cowardice by some. Cowardice, a fear that they will be removed from the thrones that some of them sit on. Some of them hold back their populations. The people of the world are, when I tell you, fed up. So many people around the world fed up. The Dominican Prime Minister, what a cultural dress she wore to the UN as well. In 2025, after decades, still has to come to call on justice in the sense of the removal of this embargo and sanctions on Cuba, our Caribbean brother. Come on, man. And people saying to the wider Caribbean and other places, hey, all they have to stop using their doctors. I don't know, we mentioned it on the program before. Mia Motley and others had to stand up and say, oh, hey, come on, man. These people saved our lives through COVID. We have to go back to the words of Mandela and really stand to say, you can't tell us who our friends should be. Imagine that. The audacity. How you could tell us who our friends should be when you are friends to people who destroy and decimate civilian populations, who violate every law that we have collectively come to, who in the face of almost all of the world, still carry about the worst atrocities that we have ever seen. Certainly in my lifetime that I have ever seen. And I know it have people who used to do things like that before. I read about slavery. I read about King Leopold and colonialism and the eradication of human beings. We only read about that. Well, me. But again in 2025? And a president of Finland, I believe it's Finland, has to stand now in this time, in this space to say, we failed in the past. We failed to stop other genocides. We're going to fail again? Nah, man. So, but it is also the ideology in us. Because the ideology makes us weak. The ideology makes us gravitate towards them, fear them, when we should only fear a creator. We are afraid economically. There is nothing better that we can do as a people than work towards being able to stand on our own 2 feet. And if we must trade, which trade is a positive thing, then we trade with people who have a level of respect for us, who don't see us as in, I need to hurry up and you ain't really so important. Let us build our lives on truth, Trinidad and Tobago. For those of us who still maintain the colonial teachings of past, who still maintain the white supremacy propagated through even religion, they corrupted even religion to force us into a mindset that is counterproductive to our upliftment. And I had to keep talking about these small Chinese people, although I see some couple tall Chinese. And imagine the explanation, he's telling me, well, back in the day, because of their inability to get sustenance, to get food, right, nutrition, that contributed towards Chinese being also a little bit shorter, apart from whatever hereditary, some of them in some provinces, right? China is a vast place. He said that contributed, and now there's statistical evidence that because they are in a better place in terms of prosperity, nutrition, access to food and nutrients and balanced diets, that they are progressively becoming taller. Imagine that. And they have fought and grappled and worked and produced their way forward. Not advantage me or you. Not exploit, chain us, chop us, beat us, take us, carry us, do this, do that to us for their advancement. They have actually worked. They've worked. They've put their head down. They have sacrificed. They've worked together to achieve the level of prosperity that they have achieved. And what are we doing? Yeah, we could be strategic. Yeah, sure. But we damn well have to be honest as well to ourselves. I ain't had no white God. For a matter of fact, my creator ain't had no color. My creator is beyond those things. I know we struggle sometimes to understand his who or what it is. Not even a description based on sex makes sense. So it's not him or her. We just use because of the inability of language even to describe, right? But certainly ain't white. So let us on this Friday, blessed morning on this Friday, let us advance ourselves in the way that we think, in an effort to free ourselves of the bondage that we remain in. That we remain in up till this day. We take the break and we'll be right back.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM for Gospel in the Bone Ministry every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message. Hosea chapter 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood." Remember, every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message with Gospel in the Bones Ministry, right here on The Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on The Street 919 FM.
Calling all choir. This is TNT's first gospel choir event of its kind. It's finally here. This is Divine Harmony. Choirs from all over the country will vie for over $250,000 in prizes. Semi-final round, the East-West Corridor, Saturday, September 20th, Central and South Trinidad, Saturday, September 27th, and Tobago, Saturday, October 4th. To register, call 719-9599. TNT, get ready. This is Divine Harmony.
Everybody say that. What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. We big the nation, cause they don't know we were the crown. It's a big D. Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we hold our vibe, and let we join together, because KFC is life. It's a big D.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Are you searching for answers to life's questions? Those things that disturb and concern you the most? Why all the wickedness? Why the suffering in the world? Will it end? Who is responsible? Well, if so, join us right here on The Street 91.9 FM every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. with Brother Samuel Gooding and Roland White, where we open the Bible and find answers to all these things and more. For it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Calling all choir. This is TNT's first gospel choir event of its kind. It's finally here. This is Divine Harmony. Choirs from all over the country will vie for over $250,000 in prizes. Semi-final round, the East-West Corridor, Saturday, September 20th, Central and South Trinidad, Saturday, September 27th, and Tobago, Saturday, October 4th. To register, call 719-9599. TNT, get ready. This is Divine Harmony.
Everybody say that.
The presence of oxygen is absolutely the absence of disease. Most chronic diseases that plague us are not happening to us, but is happening within us. We're literally eating ourselves to death, which means we're not living longer, we're dying longer. Join fitness expert Aloy Johnson, the founder of the healthiest corner on earth, located at number 92 East Drive, Chamfleur, every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. live on The Street 919 FM, where he shows you that healing the body's temple is easier than anyone would have led you to believe.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Hi there, I'm Lester Suglal, inviting you to join me on the first, second, and third Saturday, 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the program Slow Gospel Music, and on the fourth and fifth Saturday from 8:30 p.m. for an extended version of Slow Gospel Music on Street 91.9 FM.
The time is 7 a.m. This time check is sponsored by Nescafe Ready to Drink. It just hits different.
And the playlist right, it hits different. Can you feel that shift? Nescafe Ready to Drink. On the road, we on the go. Just grab your crew and grab your bro. Hits different, it's different. Vanilla latte mocha. It's different. Nescafe, the party never over.
Nescafe Ready to Drink.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from Kings Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
The wait is finally over. The Street 919 FM is powering up its digital presence with the launch of its vibrant new website, www.thestreet919fm.com. Now you can take the energy of the street with you wherever you go. Immerse yourself in a dynamic world of the hottest music, thought-provoking talk shows, exclusive interviews, and non-stop entertainment. Stay informed with the latest news updates and essential information, all just a click away. Don't miss out on being part of the Street 919 FM community online. Head over to www.thestreet919fm.com today and experience the rhythm of the street like never before.
Share the launch. Share the launch.
The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
And we are back. Good morning again, Trinidad and Tobago. And we're dealing with some issues that are global in nature. They obviously affect us as well. We see this new move towards the closing of borders, right? People saying they no longer want migration of other people to land that they claim that they are on and that they say they administrate over, etc. We see a revival of a language speaking about countries going to hell if they don't curb. It's not just migration, it's not just illegal migration as well. Listen carefully to what they say, right? It is them speaking about alternative cultures and people who, in their opinion, have different values. But I wonder what values they speak of. And I gave the comparison because one of the presidents in the world went so far to speak about a mayor in London and about Sharia law coming to London. And I'm saying that the individual, again, have you even understood what Sharia law is? Are we in a time and a place where we throw out terms that are heaped in misunderstanding to scare people into not appreciating others, xenophobia and other racial tendencies? Is that where we are? Is that where we are? Because I know Sharia law is an eye for eye, a tooth for tooth, Moses law. And I know that other people, Christians and Jews and Sabians, practice the same theory of law. But understand how divisively unique this type of statement is. It is built on a misunderstanding. It is built on a lack of knowledge by even the wider population. Because if you took the time and you understood what somebody else's system of law is, you would see the similarities. You would understand the justice and the law in it. And you would appreciate the other human being. But this division and this hate is built on ignorance, a lack of understanding of others, and a lack of willingness to even understand someone else. And it is something that's supposed to be foreign to us in Trinidad and Tobago because we take that time. Because we are so intertwined that we have a level of appreciation. We have people in our national sphere who are from all different perspectives, walks of life, religious backgrounds. And yet we understand how very, very similar we are. But for somebody deep down south or wherever who ain't even taking the time to travel to understand a different culture, religion or perspective, or even to recognize that a Nashi, little darker skin, straight-haired person in India is a human being. These things appeal to them. It is a whistle. It is a whistle for them. And in some human beings' inability to understand self is that idea that, hey, I am better because of these stupid, really non-essential factors. The color of your skin, or what religion that you say you belong to, or whatever. These things, you hold fast to that and are encouraged to think that you are better. That you are better than someone else. And you hold fast to that. And that gives you some false sense of value. And then they weaponize it, and it is expressed in dislike and hate for others. Yeah, it is. People attempt to utilize it right here in Trinidad and Tobago. People attempt that level of divisiveness around the political scene all too often. But to some extent, I must say that Trinbagonians reject that rubbish. We reject that nonsense. And we must continue to reject that nonsense at home and abroad. But we must also build ourselves as a country, as a nation. We must build ourselves with people who have those similar understandings and ideology. That all people is people. And it is about collective prosperity. How could your ideology that you seek to force onto the world not include all the people of the world? How could you claim, while brutalizing the wider world, to be the victims? It's astonishing. Mr. West, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Fuad.
And thank you for testing the line. The line wasn't working so well yesterday. I'm glad it's back up.
All right. This thing about the ideology again and the perception that, or the belief that, you have superior and inferior human beings on the earth, that goes back centuries. And the whole notion of ethnocentricity, which means that, and you have people, proponents of that, like people like Roper, Hegel, Blumenbach, and all these people. And they will say that Africa had no history. And all civilization began in the West, Europe. So that whole thing, it goes way back, and we see it now represented or reflected in modern times. With people, you saw it with Enoch Powell in England. He wanted to send back all the West Indian people who migrated to England, and they fought in the Second World War and all that. And they call them the Windrush.
Windrush, yeah.
And all these, and Theresa May did well to send back a lot of them to Jamaica. And you have the rise now again in England with Nigel Farage. You have Elon Musk, one of the proponents of that. And you have people in Germany, Ruther and all these people and them. You had in France, Le Pen and all those people. And they believe that black people or people of color and that kind of thing, and even, people who don't look like them, should in fact not come to their country. But after they are underdeveloped Africa and those countries, take all the wealth and whatnot, the fact people live in squalor and people they're looking for a better life. And they believe what they perceive to be a better life, and they migrate to those countries because they're impoverished. But again, as you said, there are some African leaders today who are taking the bull by the horn and seeking to develop their own country and spreading the whole message of development within Africa to lead to the prosperity and overall improvement in the living standards and the quality of life of their people. But I'm saying it's not new, and the idea is what do we do about it? How do we combat that? And I heard you spoke about we coming to people, you referred to Trinidad, and not just Trinidad, over the world, people who they see as being different, and need to come together and need to chart a path forward in order to combat what we call the rise of white supremacists or supremacy. You see it in England, in America, and the last time I spoke about the perception that African people, black people in America was just few, and they didn't recognize you, and more so in the South. So these are the challenges I think that we face as a people. But again, it's the ideology of a group of people, and over time, I think the very same people the white people, the Caucasian people, again, is ideology. It may, in fact, lessen, but I don't think we could get that out of the psyche of those people. But probably with a change in regime, because they take a softer stand. Because not all white people are totally, they may tolerate you, but the fact that not all of them subscribe to that, and some of them denounce that kind of. Because I remember in England in the 80s, I was up there in a march, in anti-apartheid, anti-racist march, and you had thousands of white people in that struggle, right? Yeah. Marching and protesting, organizing. You would know that too. So you don't see every white man as being one who would try to oppress you in any way. You have people, those who are tolerant. I don't say that they like you per se, but they tolerate you. So that's all I would have to say for now, Mr.
Yeah, and you've lived a little longer than me, so I know you have experienced different times. And you know, God bless those people who lived through that time of South African apartheid and who fought, those who stood up in even Trinidad and Tobago, you know, because we have always had a certain level of consciousness as well. While there is this ignorance and we buy into these perversions of truth, at the same time, as a Caribbean people, as Trinbagonians, we have also had a level of consciousness. And across both majorities who have come from different lands to this space, we understand all too well. We have a shared experience of the decimation of our forefathers' lands. We have a shared experience. We have a shared experience even up till today of this divide and rule that still lingers, that is put in place to ensure that we do not come together to be the force that we are. There's only one way a minority can control a majority, and that is through division. This is the only way, because you outnumber them. And they tell some of us, because there are generations before Windrush and others who live in these places who have become so ingrained and integrated in the fabric, right? They tell them to dislike the new ones who coming. And they tell them that, listen, they come in to take your jobs and destroy the economy and this and whatever. And the people who tell us that are the people who bleed the society, who who hoard wealth, who have 90-something% of the wealth of the country concentrated in a 1%. They're not responsible for your poverty, right? They're not responsible for your lack of economic opportunity. But who come in seeking a better life, they're responsible. That's the narrative that they feed people. And they weaponize people like Elon. They weaponize the poor Caucasian. As right here, some people try to weaponize the poor Afro-Trinbagonian. Not empower, not encourage to do what? To forge your way forward. To see the inequality, to see the challenges and to meet them. To strengthen your family, to make the sacrifices that are necessary. To invest in education, to invest in your own business, to invest in agriculture, to keep pushing, to take the opportunities available fearlessly, as others take opportunities in this land fearlessly. To stay away from the traps. There are some traps in the society that do not work for us. Crime does not work. Crime is for those at the top. Crime works for them. So let us become more conscious. Let us understand what is taking place. Let us look towards collective agendas. Let us look towards people who are more similar in the way that we think. You know, I listened to the president of Colombia, and you could feel a little energized and good about what is being said. You could feel that he speaks on behalf of the populace. You can hear a level of understanding and love for others. How I could heap scorn on somebody else because of the land they come from, the culture, the creed, or the color. And if I take a little time to appreciate, I would understand that they are more sophisticated in culture than even me. You go across the length and breadth of Africa and you find a love and a welcoming that is unmatched. You find hospitality, respect, civilization, and interworking of a community, a village, that in our modern day, what we call modern, we can't find that. Your brother and sister even want to watch your turn. Nobody ain't no time for nobody. No neighbor ain't studying what going on with you. An old person passing away now and staying and rotting for 5 days, all kind of thing, before somebody know that they're dead. Neighbor don't even visit neighbor. Good morning to my neighbors, these things. You know, for time, they bring in sweets and thing for Diwali, and then we carrying back stuff for Eid. And sometimes they have avocado, we have avocado, and I like, well we come like we exchanging. Because it's just two different trees, but it's the same where does that exist? We move to a place now. We move to a place and we think ourselves advanced, and even that interaction, that human interaction between ourselves in small spaces don't even exist. So where have we gone? But we want what is glitzy and glamorous, and what is unhealthy and destructive. And then we have to put up fences and gates. Now we have to stand we ground. Now we have to get gun to kill each other, when the youth of our country, or whoever, the wayward youth, if you want to call them that, come to take what you have. And yesterday I listened and I was taken aback because it hit me in a kind of way. I stopped to put some fuel in my vehicle, right? I on a budget. There's only so much I could do, right? And I have no other cash on me. But what I need to put in fuel, and there's someone waiting. Always somebody looking for assistance in Trinidad Island. It dreaded rough, right? And the guy asked me, for some, and I said, boy, pressure, it rough. I think that's what I said, right? I answered him, but I answered him in my own terminology and colloquial. It's pressure, it rough. What I have in my hand is to put my fuel. I ain't have no other money on me. So he started to mumble. He say, I'm listening to him still, Morning, caller.
Morning, sir.
Morning, welcome.
Thank you. But isn't that the life we chose?
Beg your pardon?
Isn't that the life we chose? Everything has a price, We wanted this life.
Right.
We wanted to be like this, to be like, To be like Mike. We wanted this. So this is the life, this is the consequences of what we wanted. All these things comes with a price.
Yeah.
We want to live with the bling, with the fast life. We want to have, and they don't realize the people who are fighting to keep acquiring, they end up with nothing. As Tupac said, fighting your whole life to still die poor. What's it really worth? And we're not realizing that the value of life is the people that we impact.
Yeah.
That is the value of life. When we impact somebody in a positive way, we have finally achieved something in our miserable life. Because for most part of your life is miserable. Let's be real. Even the people who have, they are miserable because they're trying to get more. They are never satisfied with what they have. If they have $1 million, they have to make $2 million to secure the $1 million that they made. And it's always a hustle. Then they have to be afraid that somebody comes to steal it or somebody wants to embezzle it. So they are always, even they are miserable. I work with many multimillionaires already, and their life is sad. They have, but some poor people have more than they, because the others, the poor man might have a peace of mind. But nowadays, that don't happen anymore. Because even the poor fighting to get. So he has no peace of mind.
Yeah.
No comfort. Nothing. It destroys his family. For people who don't like him or care about him, sacrifice his entire being to try to please people. And when you try to please people, you end up losing yourself because you lose your standard, your boundaries, and if it is you don't have standards and boundaries, you lose self-respect and then the respect of others.
Yeah.
So what is it all about? We didn't realize that we will lose it.
Yeah, I don't think we realized what we were losing. I think we bought into an entire system that we were unaware of. I think we just followed the flow. I think we were misled.
But listen, you cannot be misled if that is something you want. You see, when it's packaged, it's just like becoming an addict. It's packaged in a nice package. It looks inviting, but it leads to destruction. So you can't say we get misled because we chose it. We chose it. We went white eyes, white shirts. Literally. We closed the eyes and said, this is step we're going and not realizing and looking to make sure that it was at the edge of the cliff. And we have stepped off. We have no parachute. And there's no Superman coming to rescue us. So now we have to live with the consequences of the broken eggs. What shall we do? What's the salvation? What's the answer? I think the only answer for us right now is God, because no government, no administration can fix this disaster that we have found ourselves in because of something called greed. We want everything, and we decide to give nothing. You all have a right.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. And I appreciate that caller taking us a little bit deeper into the problem. Right? I know many of us understand, and for us who may forget, comparison is the thief of joy. Right? Anytime that you compare continuously your life or what you have to others, you will forever be unhappy. Comparison is the thief of joy, and we live in a time where so many fake images are held up to us, right? Our neighbor, this one, only posting the best of their life, not the struggles, not the hardships, not the tears. So we watch the smiles and the whatever, and we feel that we don't have what they have, and in that we are deluded and we lose our peace and our joy. Good morning, Prezi. We had one philosopher. We got in our next one this morning. Blessings, brother. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Enough water, brother. Good morning, Trinidad, and good morning, God. God, they have a laugh in here. I don't say good morning since long to God, you know. What do you mean as I get up, you know, God, that I know that I'm thankful for getting up. I know most people just do that. Maybe that is the reason why we live in a life so lackadaisical, greed, covetousness. Yeah, because envy, you know, jealousy. When you put all that much again, you realize, hey, but now we have a whole existence here that of nature teaches you, it guides you, it guards you, it disciplines you, it gives you every sustenance. The human mind, like we want more than we could see, right? And the more he have, is the more he want to get. And he's destroying others and the whole, you know, mashing up the consciousness of understanding nature. going off into industrial situation where he greed even so much more that he using other people to surface his wants. And to all that extent, you ask the question, where we going with that? Because imagine nobody don't like nobody no more. Nobody don't care to hear no advice from nobody no more. And so where we going with that? We say we want a better political system, maybe a better, and some people say religious, I say spiritual existence. But then when you watch at plenty religion, them is plenty of the cause, because the world what fighting now is religion fighting religion. And together with the greed of coveting resources. So the every family right now, almost I would say, almost every family fighting another family, or even within the family, the relative fighting, the brother, the sister, and husband, wife fighting one another. What a great calamity. Where we going with that? So, when you go back to understand what they call the serpent underneath the apple tree, what is the real problem there? So he envy God. So since he envy God according to their principle, because I don't know English, man, but they give me English to speak from since I small, and to tell a man he should never manage to know Spanish and all the other languages of African, Swahili, or whatever. I never get to understand know them. So whether give me in slavery, is that I end up using somebody, I telling somebody, let me go back to Assyria and Babylonia and see what really happened up there. And all right, so I get cut off from going up there. But you start to come and tell me about Pompeii and Rome. Rome was so far away from Alexander the Great. And after Alexander the Great doing back and all, I even got, after Assyria and then, Persia come and help out some people they call the Jews in them days. And it come down to Rome, come on, what we really doing? And Rome is the latest, that eventually they get conquered by, how to say, Islam, and then Islam come and fall again to Constantine. Hey, what kind of bacchanal we going through here? And that is the whole ideology. You hear how much mix-up we live in? Where we going with that? Where we going with that? The man follow our worker? Well, we could still try to see if we could get people to understand that God is truth. Reality is truth. The existence is the reality of truth to nature. And we must try very hard still to get people to understand that, because as long as they don't understand, and they still wouldn't understand themselves, and they would be greedy, covetous for God things. And them didn't create none. They didn't create a man, but they want to kill a man. Oh, what a web we weave. Thank you, my brother. I'll give you a little lecture for me to speak.
Yeah, what a tangle web.
Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. That is it for this morning.
Yeah, what a tangle web we weave. If you cannot appreciate what you have in front of you, whatever you have, whatever is with you, then whatever you're seeking, you will not be able to appreciate it either. And we have lost our way very, very, very badly. And I look at the Daily Express, and of course, yes, it has some positive stories, yes, it has tremendous individuals awarded, etc. But it also have two individuals who rob a 70-year-old granny. Right? They stop posing to be a taxi. She jump in, 70 years old. They take her to the back by around Lion Center there by the stadium. Take she $300. She phone, the rings on her hand. I mean, the love of things. I mean, to violate a 70-year-old woman, where we going? where we going with that level of thinking? Where we going with that? And it is a mentality that is too prevalent within the society. And if we identify that problem, we need to combat it. We need to combat it. And okay, we see, all right, praise for the Commissioner of Police on the first 100 days. Okay, steps in the right direction, certain decreases. Then we see Johnny Abraham to head National Operations Center. I don't know, interesting. I don't know, right? I'm one who understands the challenge that national security plays, the challenge that faces us. I know certain approaches, hard approaches are taken, but I feel as though we need a balance as well of intelligence and tact, and intelligence-led policing as well. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. You have a spider.
Yeah.
You're very diplomatic.
Well, you have to be responsible for your speech, you know. I want to get 91.9 in trouble. I understand that. I understand. And I don't speak on my behalf alone. I don't, so I have to be cautious as well.
All I can say is we're living in very interesting times. And I want you to understand how interesting this is. We spent 6 years clawing and fighting with 3 days money to finally retain back a positive outlook economically in the country. And we have lost it in 4 months. Extremely interesting times. Very, very interesting. I hope people understand what is happening. We have the highest period of unemployment right now in this country, more than we had for years, not since our great recession of the times of E.N.R. Robinson, what he inherited. There was never such a recession like that with unemployment. Not even during COVID, we had such levels of employment in the country. I am very sorry for the unemployed, their families, and for the lower level income earners, because it's only going to get worse. Once you get a negative rating, you saw we offered 24 or 28 blocks of oil and got 4 investments. That is terrible, because the economic outlook of the country has a downward trajectory. I know most people don't understand these things, but I can speak like that with you because I know you are a person of a better intelligence level. I want to put it nice. So, we are in interesting times, folks. Hold on to your belt. Grab your seat. Strap in, because you ride for the very bump. Have a nice.
Yeah, thank you very much, caller. And yes, indeed, we have some challenges economically. Standard & Poor lowers TNT's outlook to negative. We have inherited some serious issues as well, obviously. And there are a number of things that they have cited for this outlook, right? But I'll go back to it just now. Welcome, Mr. West. I know you're listening to them too.
Yeah, I listen to propaganda and deception.
Yeah.
and mischief. The fact remains is that this government hasn't even yet put forward a budget. The crisis that we are in, the evaluation being made by Standard & Poor's, they're going to have Moody and those people coming up in the IMF and all these people making their projection and whatnot. It is over. In 4 months' time, we know, in fact, you haven't yet even completed the 5th month.
Yeah, it is over a period of time prior to this administration's
The former
governance.
Prime Minister is telling you that they have no money and the country they can't get no money and they can't get nothing going on. The Prime Minister told you, hello?
Yeah, right. I mean,
that the period between now and 2027, cuckoo, if we do cuckoo, cuckoo roost and all that, and you coming on the radio to spew propaganda?
yeah, he stopped short at saying that it was this administration, but implicit somewhere there, people try to imply, but it is not just on the administration at this point in time. It is based on previous actions in our economy.
Policies of the previous regime.
Yeah.
And everybody tells you that I listened to Mala Dukaran, I listened to Sergio and Ali, Mariano Brown said it was, I listened to the program last week. He said that the reason why we are in this mess is because the policy of the last finance ministry. This is what he said. And you have all these people, June and all these people telling you that you come in here to tell me about, and the fact remains is that people have to be responsible, And when this country goes down and it goes further down, who suffers?
All of us.
So you're reveling in the fact that we have hard times and not created by the present regime. That is their inheritance. They inherited a black hole.
Yeah.
And they're trying their best to get out of it. They're all in Saudi Arabia, all in New York, UN, meeting with people from Saudi Arabia and the Middle East and whatnot to see how they can get some assistance in terms of getting the economy going, getting the oil industry going. And you coming to tell me about hold on and tighten your seatbelt and all this other nonsense. It irritates me. Not in 2025. That thinking, I don't know where that thinking comes from. And they're very charming, You're very diplomatic. How nice you are. Let me go come out with you.
Yeah, all right. So the Standard & Poor rating is based on data that has been accumulated not just under this administration but obviously before as well, and they cite some of the reasons why the outlook has been shifted, right? They cite weakening government finances, declining oil and gas output, and sluggish economic growth as key risks because it's projections as well. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning again to the program.
Yeah, man. Welcome.
Yeah. You see, I listen to a lot of people speak. And so many states are economy of Canada and today. But you see, what I don't understand is they could speak to young people like this. I'm 58 years. So, it's 2010. We have to watch the economy from 2010 following up to 2015 when the former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Riley, took over the country. How managing the economy in 2010, it was not like this. We have to blame the person or the Prime Minister from 2010 to 2015 to manage, not manage, really run the country for 9 years, less than 10 years. Right? Now, what people don't understand, you see, the decision they make today is going to be a future tomorrow. So the problem is, right, that they can't really blame Keith Rowley for the state of the economy fully.
That's how people govern the economy. That is how the economy is going to be 25 years later, 20 years later. Now, this man they call Mr. Robinson also made the same mistake too. He inherited some problems, but he carried down the economy really further down because he devalued our money because he wanted certain group of people to come to China and they were called foreign investors. Right? And that hurt our economy for a number of years. I think on the money, that was years after, good bit of years after, we start getting back ourselves. A lot of sacrifice went on. But you see, it had a big problem in 2010 to 2015, the people who was governing the economy. You understand? They did some things. And we know the story. I don't want to go into details. We know the story. You understand? Billions of dollars was going to billions of dollars of shipping. They had all kind of things. High-rise building outside of China and all that. Billions of US. You understand? Listen. Everybody from that period of 2010 to 2025 have to take some blame. I'm not saying all the time. So, you understand, we have to be, some people say it's not a former government, not fully, but I have some blame to take.
Yeah.
You understand, if what kind of money had in that treasury day 2010 to 2015, then that shouldn't have been having this problem right now. Anyhow, good morning, and bless, and I'm listening to you all again.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. So I just want to read from the article itself, but I was stopped mid-flight when I was speaking about the guy who asked for a little help. And what he said to me, he said, I hate when people say pressure and they living in big house and having a good, some mumbling that kind of thing, as in, he know what real pressure is now. And I understand the feeling, and I also understand the perception that sometimes people have towards those who they believe have probably more than them. And his experience, he feels, is the ultimate experience of difficulty. So he's not even interested to hear somebody else's statement about their difficulty. So I had to further clarify. I said, brother, I don't have any money to give you. If I had, then, so that is what I mean by pressure. And fortunate enough, the person who was in front of me listening to him, and I had a little bit of a chuckle and gave him some money too and said, hey, let's use my money in the right way, because, though, and he said, well, I don't smoke, whatever, it does go. But the frustration is there. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Barker.
Good morning and welcome.
Okay, yes. Have you noticed you're not hearing people say, like a few months ago, or before April 28th, oh God, we suffering, we hungry, we can't pay we bills, we can't buy food. I ain't hearing nobody on the radio talking about how they suffering and the government had them hungry and they can't send the children to school. Imagine thousands of workers from CPEP gone home. WASA workers went home, the daily pays. Forestry, and the last who came and bite the dust was the URP people. And not a soul talking about the suffering and the hungry. I heard a woman on a radio station say her counselor told her to go by social welfare division to get help before school opened because she couldn't buy books and send children to school. The woman said when she went by social welfare, they tell her she don't qualify. So I say, what? Oh, you don't? I mean, I thought social welfare helps people who in a situation. She said they told her she don't qualify. But all of a sudden, everybody come to Farmer Nappy. They living real nice. They living good. Nobody hungry. Nobody suffering. But thousands of workers went home. I say, wow. Well, all I have to say, a lot of them who got fired probably was singing Yellow is the Code, and they can't say nothing now because they bring it on themselves. They end up like the dog on the bone. They had a bone in their hand, they look down in the water and they see an next and thought it was a next bone and they let go the bone they had. You have a blessed weekend.
Yeah, you as well have a blessed weekend. So I'm sure that some people are going through challenges economically and they are expressing it, maybe not on the air or whatever, but there is that difficulty within the society, and those who can assist, please do assist as much as possible, right? And that is also the lesson, because I go sometimes till my last to help, because what is the point? What is the point having and somebody in need and not trying to reach them? So there is difficulty. I know people are also trying to show some patience because we have that level of maturity as well. We understand where we come from and we really want to go back there.
Good morning, Fuad.
Morning, brother.
When they sit there patience until after the budget, you go get who hungry, who starving.
Yeah.
But doctor say give you a break.
Yeah.
So we have any patience until after the budget now. So
yeah.
You care, she come and talk in mine now. Who vex? Lost.
Yeah.
Bless.
Yeah, man, bless. Exactly. I have people, yes, they're under pressure. I think there was a understanding of that as well. So extra effort was made to meet the needs of school children and going back to school as well. But it is challenging, and we have to find ways to solve those challenges, and we look forward to the budget. I think everybody is looking forward to some type of economic stimulus that would also carry us forward as a nation as well, right? Not just plasters for sores. So have a blessed day and weekend to you as well, Mom, as you said, and to all of Trinidad and Tobago. Take care.
Saturday, September 27th, and Tobago. Saturday, October 4th. To register, call 719-9599. TNT. Get ready. This is Divine Harmony.
Everybody say that.
You want to find something great to do with your Tuesday nights? You want to learn and understand the